everybody, Nimble Comics here, and today we have an interesting topic, right? If you've been following any sort of anime news recently, you know that something big just happened, right? In One Piece, Luffy just got his Gear 5, the long-anticipated new form, where we figure out that his Devil Fruit is not actually a Paramecia type, like it's been assumed to be the entire time up until now, but is actually a Zoan type, and he's taking on this mythical creature, right? And more than that, it's the awakened form of this Zoan type. So the Devil Fruit can affect the world around it. In this case, right, his body's rubber and everything, so he's able to affect the world around him and turn things into rubber, including people, as we saw with his fight against Kaido. The real question is, did this form live up to the hype, right? There's a bunch of hype around this, specifically showing up in the anime, right? In the manga, we saw it earlier, and that was all very cool, but it was coming to the big screen where more people were going to see it, and there's a lot of hype around it, and talk of, this form versus the Ultra Instinct form, which is a few years old at this point, but the most recent huge new form in anime, and so there's a lot of comparison between the two, which one's better, things like that. So we want to know, was it as cool as it has been marketed as? Is it the new Super Saiyan, whatever? And that's kind of tough to say, right? Because if you weren't tuned in to One Piece, and for the record, I want to say I've seen more One Piece than any other anime, right? That's the first show that I really got into. I mean, I watched Dragon Ball as a kid when it came on TV, but that I actually got the app for and were watching One Piece episodes one after another. That was the first one I really did that with. So I've seen it more than anything else. But if you weren't like that, right, you weren't tuned in, but you heard, oh, Luffy is getting this new form in One Piece, make sure you tune in to see it. Does it live up to that expectation? And yeah, that is kind of tough, because his previous forms, or gears, right, gears 2 through 4, were not like Gear 5. They were more enhancements to his body. He was getting faster, growing parts of his body to hit harder, using his armament haki to enhance himself further. His body was changing, but not quite the same as a new form, which is what this is. It is a completely new form. Really the first one for Luffy. And it looks to be his endgame form for the rest of the anime and manga. But it's not quite like the others, and it's not quite like the other forms we've seen in anime so far, right? Looking at stuff like Naruto or Bleach or, of course, Dragon Ball, which are the biggest comparisons, there is definitely a clear difference between those forms and Luffy's new form. And I think that it is a badass factor, right? Goku going Super Saiyan or going Ultra Instinct, those have a badass factor. Naruto going to his forms, Ichigo going to his forms, whatever, anybody that you want to think of. There's always a form of badassery, getting stronger and more powerful and being cooler, usually more serious, and being able to kick massive butt. But this isn't like that. It's kind of a goofy form, right? He turns into a Looney Tunes character. It's like cartoon physics. It's extremely goofy, and I think that is one reason why a lot of people have sort of been making fun of it or clowning on it a little bit. And look, again, if you're not a One Piece fan, it's that's understandable, or it's this is the thing that you guys are hyping up. Is this is the thing. You compare that to Goku going Ultra Instinct for the first time and fighting Jiren versus Gear 5 fighting Kaido, and it's totally different, totally different vibe to the whole thing, and that's intentional, right? Goku, whenever he's in these fights and everything, is a lot more of a serious character. It's a lot different. Now, the characters themselves are actually kind of similar. Both Goku and Luffy both like to eat a lot. They're both very jovial, happy, non-serious characters. And then whenever this fight happens, they usually get very serious, they buckle down, and they win. And all of Goku's transformations have hinged on the get more serious, buckle down aspect of the character, right? Doing what needs to be done and able to win in order to win. And for the most part, Luffy's have done the same. Though even some of his Gear 4 ones were kind of goofy, like Bounce Man, whatever. It's already kind of silly, right? So I think the nature of Luffy's character is probably more silly, less serious when compared to somebody like Goku, and this Gear 5 really tunes into that. The character is supposed to be this laughing, funny, ridiculous character, and that's kind of Luffy's personality outside of fighting, and even in some fights, but most of the time he is this kind of ridiculous, goofy, funny character, and this really taps into his core character as a form. As a One Piece fan, I think it does live up to what you were expecting, because it's very true to the character. You see that guy up there, doing everything that he's doing to Kaido, all the crazy forms and the cartoon physics and everything, and it's like, yeah, that is Luffy, right? But if you're not a One Piece fan, you're probably expecting something a little bit more badass versus goofy, so you probably were disappointed, or you didn't really get the hype or something like that, and it seems silly, and you're saying you're comparing that to Super Saiyan or Ultra Instinct. It's like, are you crazy? So, I kind of get it. I definitely think that it's more subjective than the other ones, and personally, I think it's fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, just because I do like the more serious stuff typically. I think that this is just kind of like too goofy, too ridiculous. Like, what is this? Where's the challenge for the rest of the series, pretty much, because he's so powerful now. What's going to be challenging him for the rest of the series, if anything, right? But I do know that it is consistent with the character and the deeper lore in the series, right, of the Joy Boy and all that stuff, and the freedom and liberation, all that stuff that ties into this form. I get it. It's probably not for me. I definitely prefer something like Ultra Instinct, though I want to say I get both sides, right? I totally get being happy and satisfied with it if you're a One Piece fan. I totally get not getting it if you're not a One Piece fan. So enough rambling about that. Let's answer the question. Did it live up to the hype? I'm going to say, for the most part, yes, I think it did. I think if you're a One Piece fan, you knew it was coming. Gear 5, the new form, expanding the lore, expanding Luffy's abilities. You saw that on the big screen. Super hype, trashing Kaido. Absolutely, I think it lives up to that hype. I think if you're not a One Piece fan, it could go either way. Either you get it, or you don't get it. So it's kind of harder to judge on that point. But overall, I think it did deliver what the fans were expecting, and that's really all you can ask for. I'm curious to see how this form and the world around it will evolve as we march toward the series' end, because it is certainly interesting, though it is definitely different, right? I think there is a difference between a form like this and a form like Super Saiyan. They are categorically different, so I say, hey, it's okay to like both, it's okay to like neither. The fans are happy, and you know what? That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. But let me know what you guys think. This is sort of a hot topic in the anime community, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.